Greetings, fellow time travelers. Welcome back to Historia, where we uncover the hidden mysteries of lost civilizations and, well, dive deep into the secrets that shaped our world. I'm your archaeological guide, ready to take you on another mind-bending journey through the corridors of time. Today's discovery will challenge everything you thought you knew about ancient Egypt. We're about to reveal the incredible story of a woman who achieved the impossible. She became pharaoh of the most powerful empire on earth over 3,500 years ago. But here's the mystery that baffled archaeologists for centuries. Someone tried to erase her from history completely. Who was she? And why did they want her forgotten forever? Before we unveil these incredible secrets, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss the ancient mysteries we're about to reveal. The archaeological bombshell that shook Egypt. Picture this scene. Spring 2007, Cairo. The world's leading Egyptologists gathered for what would become one of the most controversial announcements in modern archaeology. The Egyptian Minister of Antiquities stepped forward with a declaration that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. We have identified the mummy of one of the most important queens of the ancient world, Hatshepsut. But here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. Many experts immediately challenged this discovery. Why? Because this wasn't just any ordinary queen. This was a woman who had vanished from history so completely that archaeologists spent decades trying to piece together her incredible story. What we're about to discover together will blow your mind. We're traveling back 35 centuries to uncover the truth about Egypt's most mysterious ruler. The discovery that changed everything. Let me transport you to the 19th century, when the fever for Egyptology was sweeping across the Western world. Scientists desperately wanted to unlock the secrets of this incredible civilization. Thanks to the revolutionary work of Jean-François Champollion, who cracked the code of hieroglyphics, the ancient pharaohs could finally speak to us across millennia. But Champollion encountered something that left him completely baffled. At the magnificent temple of Deir el-Bahari, buried under countless tons of sand, he discovered representations of two pharaohs, which was already unusual. But what absolutely stunned him was this. The inscriptions referred to one of these pharaohs using feminine pronouns. Imagine his confusion. For the first time in history, archaeologists had discovered evidence of a woman pharaoh. But this was just the beginning of an archaeological journey that would reveal secrets beyond their wildest imagination. The divine birth of a revolutionary. Fellow mystery hunters, what we're about to discover will amaze you. Hidden on the walls of Hatshepsut's temple, archaeologists found something extraordinary, the complete story of her divine conception carved in stone over 3,000 years ago. According to these ancient inscriptions, the god Amun himself chose to father this exceptional child. The sacred texts tell us Amun took the form of His Majesty, her husband, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Thutmose I. He found the queen sleeping in the beauty of her palace. She awakened to the divine fragrance and rejoiced at seeing his beauty. Here's what makes this absolutely revolutionary. Never before had a queen claimed to be the daughter of Amun. Even for male pharaohs, calling yourself the son of a god was considered incredibly bold. But Hatshepsut went further than any ruler before her. The mysterious destruction campaign. Now, fellow time detectives, we come to one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. In 1920, archaeologist Herbert Winlock made a discovery that would haunt Egyptologists for generations. In front of Hatshepsut's temple, he found a massive pit filled with thousands of statue fragments. These weren't accidentally broken pieces. They had been deliberately destroyed. Someone had systematically smashed every statue of Hatshepsut, chiseled away her inscriptions from temple walls, and in some cases specifically targeted the eyes to make her gaze disappear forever. But here's the burning question that archaeologists are still trying to answer. Who wanted Hatshepsut erased from history, and why? And the rise of Egypt's most unlikely pharaoh. Let me paint a picture of ancient Egypt during Hatshepsut's time. The empire was entering a golden age of prosperity after a dark period of foreign occupation. For over a century, foreign dynasties called the Hyksos had controlled northern Egypt, the first time in Egyptian history that foreigners had dominated the land. Pharaoh Ahmose had successfully expelled these invaders, and now Thutmose I needed to consolidate Egypt's power. He married Princess Ahmose, who became the great royal wife. From this union came a daughter who would change history forever, Hatshepsut, whose name means foremost of noble women. But here's where destiny took an unexpected turn. Thutmose I chose his daughter, not his sons, to accompany him on a crucial journey to the Delta region. During this trip, something remarkable happened that would shape the future of Egypt. The divine selection that changed everything. Picture this incredible scene with me. Young Hatshepsut stood beside her father as the sacred statue of Amun emerged in procession. According to the temple inscriptions, the god himself spoke, declaring Hatshepsut as his chosen daughter and future ruler of Egypt. This was absolutely unprecedented. The pharaoh had designated a woman as his heir, but fate had other plans. When Thutmose I died, his son from a secondary wife, Thutmose II, ascended the throne, married to his half-sister Hatshepsut to legitimize his rule. However, history was about to repeat itself in the most dramatic way possible. To me, the child pharaoh and the ambitious queen. Here's where our story takes a fascinating twist. Thutmose II died at just 25 years old after a brief reign, leaving behind a 3- or 4-year-old son, Thutmose III, as the legitimate heir. But a child cannot rule an empire. Hatshepsut stepped forward as regent, governing Egypt in the young pharaoh's name, until he came of age. But here's what makes this absolutely captivating. Hatshepsut had been raised with dreams of grandeur by her father. Could she remain in the shadows of a child forever? The answer lies carved in granite on the island of Sehel near Aswan. There, we find evidence of Hatshepsut's growing ambition. She commissioned 2 massive obelisks in her own name, not in the name of young Thutmose III. This was the kind of monumental construction only a pharaoh would undertake. The masterstroke that seized power. Fellow archaeological adventurers, what happened next will absolutely astound you. Hatshepsut made a brilliant political move. She sent young Thutmose III to military school in the north, while she remained in Thebes, the capital, controlling everything. But to justify seizing a throne that was already occupied, she needed the highest authority possible, the gods themselves. And here's where Hatshepsut displayed political genius that would make modern leaders envious. The divine intervention that made history. During the sacred festival of Amun, Hatshepsut orchestrated one of the most dramatic political theatre performances in ancient history. As the god's sacred bark was carried in procession by priests, something extraordinary happened. The bark suddenly stopped, as if paralyzed by a mystical force, then tilted toward Queen Hatshepsut. The priests and entire procession were in shock. According to the inscriptions, Hatshepsut knelt before her divine father and asked, "What do you want from me? That I protect Egypt?" The sacred bark tilted toward her again, indicating divine approval. The god had designated his pharaoh, and she was a woman. From our modern perspective, this might seem like elaborate theatre, with priests orchestrating the movements. But remember, the people of that era believed completely in divine intervention. This moment legitimized Hatshepsut's claim to absolute power. Now, fellow mystery hunters, we come to one of the most fascinating aspects of Hatshepsut's reign. At the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, you can witness something absolutely extraordinary: the visual transformation of a woman into a pharaoh. Initially, Hatshepsut was depicted as a woman painted in traditional yellow, which, was the colour Egyptian iconography assigned to women, while men were painted red. But as her reign progressed, we see an incredible metamorphosis. Her facial features became more angular, her mouth less gentle with tightened corners, and her gaze more powerful with those almond-shaped eyes and high, arched eyebrows that really conveyed strength and authority. Most remarkably, her body gradually transformed from feminine to increasingly androgynous, until she was depicted with the traditional false beard of Pharaonic power. Yet she never denied her feminine identity. She always used feminine grammatical forms in inscriptions. She was simply the pharaoh, regardless of gender. The golden age of the warrior queen. Now here's what makes Hatshepsut absolutely extraordinary among Egypt's more than 300 pharaohs. She was one of only 4 or 5 women to achieve supreme power, and well, the only one to rule for an incredible 22 years. But Hatshepsut didn't just hold power. She transformed Egypt. She restored, rebuilt, and even surpassed the work of her predecessors. The Egyptians believed that if a pharaoh successfully completed great construction projects, it proved the gods supported their rule. Her masterpiece was the temple of Deir el-Bahari, her temple of millions of years. This architectural jewel of the New Kingdom measures an astounding 900 feet long and 345 feet wide, carved directly into the limestone cliffs. Today, it remains one of Egypt's most visited monuments. The mystery of the missing pharaoh. But here's the haunting question that brings us full circle. If Hatshepsut was such a successful ruler, why did someone try so desperately to erase her from history? The systematic destruction of her monuments, the chiseling away of her name, the smashing of her statues. This wasn't random vandalism. This was a calculated campaign to make Egypt's most successful female pharaoh disappear forever. Recent archaeological evidence suggests the most likely culprit was Thutmose III himself, the stepson she had pushed aside. Years after her death, when his own power was secure, he may have ordered the destruction of her memory to rewrite history and legitimize his own reign. The pharaoh who defied time. Fellow time travelers, Hatshepsut's story is far from over. In 2007, when Egyptian authorities claimed to have identified her mummy, the controversy revealed just how much mystery still surrounds this incredible woman. What we do know is this: Hatshepsut achieved something that seemed impossible in the ancient world. She seized power in a male-dominated empire, ruled successfully for over 2 decades, and left behind architectural marvels that still inspire awe today. She was a master politician, a brilliant builder, and a pharaoh who proved that leadership transcends gender. Though someone tried to erase her from history, Hatshepsut's legacy carved in stone has ensured her immortality. Your archaeological adventure continues. What do you think about Hatshepsut's incredible story? Was her seizure of power justified? Or was she a usurper who stole the throne from its rightful heir? Share your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. If this ancient mystery fascinated you as much as it did me, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Next week, we're traveling to another lost civilization where we'll uncover secrets that will completely rewrite our understanding of ancient technology. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, the greatest discoveries are still waiting to be found. This has been Historia.